Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode where we start off where it didn't automatically unmute everybody else. Hi. Welcome.
Yippee!
Welcome to our I don't even know how to this might I don't know. At the top of this episode, I have no idea if this is our finale or penultimate episode.
Part one of question mark.
Part 1 of question mark. It may be in fact part 1 of
Endgame.
1, but anyway, we're here.
I'm gonna start doing that on Twitter threads. Actually, I'm gonna put 1/question mark and then just have
Yeah.
it be a one tweet thread.
There you go. Confuse everyone. Be like, wait, did I miss something?
Where's the rest of it?
Is he still typing it? Like, what's happening? This was says like 8 hours ago. Is he? What's happening?
In this presentation, I will.
I've really just been agonizing over the second tweet in this thread.
You're just gonna trigger everyone's anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like leaving a parenthetical like unclosed.
No.
I did that
Stop.
recently. I felt really bad. Like I was replying to a Reddit thread, and in my replies I had an open parenthetical, and then I opened another one before closing that one. And it was bad. And I didn't realize it until after, and I had already edited once, and I wasn't about to do it again. It just, yeah. Anyway, that's not what this is about. We're here to play this game, and
A different kind of anxiety.
a different kind of anxiety. Yes, one we all signed up for. So, yeah. Anyway,
Listen.
You did this to yourself.
a little. So, I don't have too many announcements at the start of this. Just the usual ones, which is that in theory there will be a Ramblemancy this Friday. There might not, but in order for you to know, which is a thing that I can't do because I'm in the past, you can go and check our Discord and go and look at the announcements for the week, because they will always be there to let you know what is happening here on this channel. And then, as Scriv was pointing out, we have merch for this very show that some of our cast are currently wearing. That's
We have merch models.
Look at that. We have our season 1 Tomorrow is Dead
got a
tees.
t-shirt.
They have they're sort of like collage designed by our very own Brita Donnan. They have a whole collage of items and Easter eggs from the first season that are all just here. Yeah, we have Gabby's notebook is one of my favorite things on there.
I was so excited to get this in the mail and just go back and have all of those little memories popping up.
There's
With-
Kit's knife right here.
The knife, the
The
crowbar,
headlamp.
empty
The
bottles.
freaking
The traffic cone.
traffic
My
cone.
weapon of choice, the traffic cone.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Gas
There it
can. We've got a bunch of dice. We've got a bunch of phones on here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got we got the axe. We've got the Adventure Mobile keys. We've got the walkie-talkies that say SOS on them.
Hell yeah.
So many things. So many fun things.
Playlists.
Oh,
Such good stuff.
There's the little the fireball canister, the little fireball.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good.
And
Good.
and the cup of coffee.
And the cup of coffee.
John, if we ever meet in person, we're drinking Fireball, by the way.
Yes.
I've had Fireball
Oh, no.
one time in my life,
Oh,
and it was
no.
in college. We have to cheers a little thing of Fireball, and then I'll make a real drink with good whiskey.
I remember very well Freeman's Fireball era. It was
Woof.
Wait, this morning?
I mean,
Fireball era.
I guess we're
Literally
still in
following
it, as it
that.
turns out.
I
We're still in.
think we need to reach out to some like mixologist bartender mutuals and see if we can come up with a Tomorrow is Dead cocktail or
That would
something
be
with Fireball.
Dope
That would
as
be
hell.
legit.
That would be dope.
Yeah. I might actually drink Fireball if it's in something like
Yeah.
that.
You've there's a mixologist sleeper agent in me, and you've activated them.
See,
like
the thing about this is, if I remember correctly, it wasn't only Fireball. I think there were small bottles of Malibu as well. So there'd have to be at least 2 different cocktails, because mixing those 2 is a terrible idea. Don't do that.
Okay, there you go. Future Patreon content.
There we go. Listen, I had already thought it. We are...
Put that in the after show.
Just chatting now.
Hi, chat.
We're prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah, I feel like this always happens. Every season finale for any TTRPG show that we've ever done has always started like this. It's always started like this. Well, unfortunately, the stalling cannot go forever. So...
Not with that attitude.
With Scriv's just like, they can the way I do it. Anyway. But so let's go ahead and jump directly.
Don't worry about me. Just keep going.
While Bree drowns in cat, we jump straight into our title sequence. We'll be right back. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello.
I just Sam Regaled everybody over the over the title.
We're not making inappropriate jokes. No.
What? Anyway.
Who does that?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think the answer is no, but I'm genuinely asking this because I fully have no memories. There was not a Dearly Departed this time, right? Nobody had one?
No.
Okay.
No.
I could improvise a Dearly Departed for the 6 of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Dearly departed for our collective sanity, maybe.
R.I.P. us. I'm kidding. Please don't let me do that.
Still in the title sequence?
No.
No, we're live.
Okay, cool. I had to go and lock Dandy out of my room and then we're starting. I'm like, what's happening?
Okay. So,
Everything. Everywhere. All at once. Good movie. Go watch it.
Bringing us in, where we left off last time, after the attack on the bunker, the crew gathered a group of allies, made a plan to follow the man in the pinstripe suit back towards the ruins of Denver, towards where Kit had previously encountered one of the monoliths. As they made their way towards the ruins of Denver, Kit and the others encountered another survivor who, while he didn't know Kit personally, had heard of her from Kit's previous traveling companions, Howard and Roe, who believed fully that Kit, or Chess as they knew her, had perished in the rescue attempt. That said, Kit's efforts were not in vain, as she learned that not only had Howard and Roe returned, but they had managed to bring their doctor back, who had saved Roe's younger sister Candace, as well as their entire group from a sickness that had sort of infected their group. After kind of giving him a ride to where their paths would diverge, they parted from the survivor, Jake, who, with sort of a wave of his hand, sort of went his separate way as the group proceeded towards Denver. Upon arriving in Denver, the group realized that their situation was even more dire than they originally thought, as upon getting their first view of the monolith, they saw thousands upon thousands of the dead, forming sort of a ring, kind of clustering up, almost as if a barrier was physically keeping them away from the ring. With more and more trickling in from all corners of the city, as well as seemingly outside of it. Kit, through a sort of brief attempt at flexing her abilities, attempted to take control of a large portion of the horde to see if possibly she could use that to get them through safely, and found that in fact she could. And while the group sort of debated how exactly they were going to use this to traverse, suddenly Kit felt connection from the monolith itself, feeling some form of wordless invitation to both her and the man in the pinstripe suit. And as they were standing there contemplating the meaning of this, suddenly the horde parted, leaving an open corridor that led directly to the monolith. And that is where we left off.
VIP tickets, baby.
So, we will begin. We'll begin not there, but rather about 2 years ago. Gunshots kind of ring out over the camp as night has fully fallen. People sort of screaming, shouting at each other, yelling obscenities as Kit, you are moving from tent to tent, trying hard to avoid being seen. Someone next to you sort of like kind of runs and like collapses next to you, just sort of panting heavily, as Aaron turns and looks at you and just shakes his head. He says, I don't know what happened. They just started shooting at each other. Do you know what this is about?
What?
I don't know. The doctor said something about, I don't know. Kit, you feel as you are watching him sort of looking over his shoulder, kind of making sure that you weren't being followed. You know what happened.
Yeah.
Aaron sort of like gets up onto his knees from a sitting position and looks around and says, okay, look, I don't know what's going on, but we can't stay here.
You're right. No, let's fucking go.
He looks at, he kind of like takes in your face for the first time and just sort of like puts his hand on your shoulder. He says, Kit, are you good?
I'm fine.
I'm not. Do you know something about this?
To go. I'm just gonna start shoveling stuff into my bag.
Okay. As you're sort of stuffing things in, he kind of like pushes the sort of the tent flap open and looks, and he says, "Okay, it looks like it's moving towards the outskirts. I think now's our window. Come on." The two of you start kind of maneuvering between the tents. At one point, he like grabs you and pulls you back and just holds as you see a sort of halfway armored individual sort of walks past in the gap between a couple of the tents. There's some shouting and weapons fire opens up, and you hear somebody hit the ground. And then you wait for a moment as you hear booted footsteps running off away from you. Aaron waits for a moment and he just gestures, and you both run. You book it for the edge of the camp. As you're reaching the edge of the camp, he looks towards you and says, "Okay, look, we're almost there. We just need to." And then you hear the unmistakable clicking of a weapon nearby, as you both stop and turn, and you see Beatrice, one of the camp's doctors. She looks like she's taken a shot to the side. She's sort of holding it, but she's holding the pistol at you, and her arm is steady. She says, "What are you doing, Aaron?" She says, "B, what the hell is happening? The camp is insane. What? Did they get in?" And she goes, "I don't know. Why don't you tell me, Kit? Did they?"
No. No.
She says, "Oh, I get it. He doesn't know, does he?" Aaron goes, "What the no what? What the hell is going on here?"
No.
She goes,
I'm fine.
it's like, "I know. That's what makes this so interesting. You know I can't let you leave."
I'm gonna look over at Aaron.
He looks at you, says, "Beatrice, what the hell is this? Somebody tell me what's happening." She says,
She wants to kill me.
she says, "Oh, no, no, no. Why would I kill you? You might be our one and only hope of getting out of this." Aaron says, "Look, if we can just put down our weapons, just put everything down, we can talk about this." She just sort of looks between the two of you and says, "Why don't you put down yours, Aaron, and then I'll tell you exactly what's going on." He just sort of, "B, you don't want to do this." Says, "Our friend Kit here has been holding out on us. It turns out she might be the key to all of this."
I think in a moment of pure panic, I'm gonna draw my weapon as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she
Aim at her.
Yeah, she was who was sort of aiming at Aaron, then looks at you and just says, "Mistake, Kit. Come on. You could end all of this. You could end all of this. You just gotta come back with me."
No. The things. No. No.
She looks at you, and as she's looking, we're gonna go ahead and do this. Holy shit. Okay. With 3 successes, Aaron takes advantage of her moment of distraction and just charges into her, knocking her over bodily. You can hear the sound of a gunshot going off as Aaron just tackles her to the ground. And as he gets up and just starts trying to subdue her as she's fighting back. He just punching her as she's on the ground. And just wrestles the gun out of her hand and just throws it off to the side as he sort of sits there for a moment as she's just sort of dazed and sort of stunned, and you can see that she's bleeding from her nose and mouth. As he sort of sits there, and you can see as he kind of winces for a moment and says, "Ugh." He looks at you, Kit, and just says, "Go, I'm right behind you." As he stands up and starts kind of backing away from her, and she says, "Aaron, this is worth dying for, but you're on the wrong side of it." He just shakes his head and stumbles away from her and sort of follows you, Kit.
I think as I'm running, I turn back and just kind of fire in her direction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you sort of fire off in that direction as she, she was in the process of getting up, like immediately dives back down, as the two of you just sort of book it towards the edge of camp and then disappear off into the night. You don't know how long you're running exactly, as both of you are just sort of like blindly panicked running. But at one point you hear a thump from behind you as you turn and you see that Aaron has like fully collapsed. He sort of rolls over and tries to stand back up.
Shit. I'm gonna go check.
Yeah, as as you go over to him to kind of like help him, you can see that there's blood on his hands as well as on the ground. As he just sort of like stands up or sits up, he's like, I'm good. I can keep going.
You idiots.
And he just sort of he looks past you, kind of back in the way that you came from. He says, I don't think we're being followed, but we still need to get a little ways out. Just need a second to catch my breath.
Let me see.
He sort of like gingerly peels his jacket away from like the wound, and you can see that it's like a pretty nasty stomach wound. He says, really thought I was going to catch her that time. What? He just shakes his head and says, as you're kind of like checking him over, he's kind of quiet as you're checking him over. He says, he like at one point he just sort of grabs your shoulder and just says, what does she mean, Kit? What happened?
She wants my blood.
You mean literally?
Literally.
Why?
Like not just. I look at his wound. And I lean down and I roll up my pant leg.
Yeah. He looks at your ankle where there is a healed but very clear bite wound. He looks at it, sort of frowns like he's not really sure what he's looking at for a second. And he looks at you like almost not understanding, but when he looks at your face, you can see he just sort of like any words that he was about to say sort of die in his throat as he just looks at you and says, You've been bit? How? How is that even? How are you?
I don't know. I thought she could help and she...
Wait, so she turned the camp upside down for this? Because I don't understand.
Do you think she can make some sort of cure or... I passed out the first time she took my blood, okay?
Shit. God, that unbelievable bitch. There are people killing each other right now. He just shakes his head. He looks at you and says, it's not your fault. This isn't... Don't look at me like that. I know you. This isn't your fault.
Sure.
Well, we gotta run. I mean...
Be serious.
Huh?
Be serious. Look at yourself right now.
What are you gonna do? Just go off by yourself? Look, that's not happening, okay? Just give me something to hold on this wound and we'll go. Don't argue. Just give me my pack.
Fine. I'm gonna throw it at him.
He starts rummaging around in it and pulls out like some, just like a ratty old T-shirt or whatever, and he just pulls it out and just sort of like holds it onto himself, and then just starts like wrapping like a bandage around himself to just hold it. He's okay. Here, don't look at me like that. Grab this and pull. Tight. He takes a moment as he like finishes securing the bandages and sort of using you as support, kind of like stands up, shouldering his pack. Says, "Okay, come on. We can figure this out. We can fix this when we get somewhere safe. Come on." And
It's gonna be like this no matter where I go, dude.
then we'll keep moving. Never stay in one place too long. Come on. Look, the longer you stand here and argue with me, the more time that they'll have to catch up with us.
Fine. Okay. Let's go.
And we'll cut back to present. As you all are driving through this corridor of the dead. Give me 1 second. As you are driving, Frankie, you're kind of like looking back through kind of like the rear windows of the bus, and you can see behind you as the dead are sort of close in behind you, the corridor collapsing as you pass through it. They don't appear to be following you, but they are sort of closing ranks.
Ominous.
The
last glimpse of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hold on to Kit's hand.
Right.
So long, motorcycle.
Driving through this corridor, Casey, you kind of are looking to either side, and it is, I don't know that you've seen this many in one place before, at least not this close up. Like, you've seen hordes moving in the distance, but never this close. This is a bizarre experience. Like, not unlike being at a zoo or an aquarium next to, like, a dangerous predator that in any other context that close to you would snuff you out without a second thought. Only here there's no glass. There's no barrier between you and them, at least not one that you understand.
Casey is that sets her teeth on edge, but she's also just like, her brain is fucking on fire right now. She's been like struggling through several years of just like surviving all of this and not really knowing anything that's going on in the world, and so like there's the very real fear here, but she's also very curious.
Gabby, in the other vehicle, as you're sort of probably riding in the passenger seat as Hall drives, you're looking out at all of this to either side, being sort of in the front, in front of the bus, and Hall is just sort of like, you can hear her like grinding her teeth as you are like driving forward, looking to either side at the crushing onslaught of the dead to either side.
It feels, yeah, that crushing feeling, because we know at any minute, and this is what's going through my mind, if something changes, we have no way out. I think I'm probably I'm speechless. Mm-hmm. As speechless as Hall. Yeah. The tension is palpable in this car.
Yeah.
And I just keep double checking to make sure the doors are locked, as if somehow that'll help. Yeah. But I'm suddenly reminded of, it feels like the first time when we were in the adventure mobile.
Mm-hmm.
when all of this was first kicking off and we had no idea what to expect. We were surrounded by, back then, much fewer numbers of dead.
Yeah.
And when I kept flipping the walkie-talkie as if I was going to find something or hear something, it feels like that. It's that same feeling now driving into this for me. I don't have anything to really fidget with except weapons.
Yeah. Maisel, as you stare out at all of this, your eyes kind of going back and forth between Kit, the dead, and that spire in front of you, growing ever larger as you approach.
I think Maisel's probably unnaturally calm. And like it's less of like not worried, but more like relieved that weirdly things are starting to make sense. Like, so many weird things have happened. It's been 3 years of a completely insane thing, and finally it feels like we're learning the rules. And so she's a little bit more, not necessarily relaxed, but calm, like ready and waiting.
Yeah. I think Casey probably will just glance over at Maisel and be like, guess we gotta find out what game we're fucking playing 3 years in now, huh?
Finally. Who's gonna be on point? Who's gonna be making the calls?
It can be me or it can be you.
That's why I'm asking.
I can do it.
You sure?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Don't I know it?
Okay.
Just... I know I can do it if you're there.
Okay. Follow Kit's lead, at least.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Don't know what's going on, and no offense to Shaw, but I have a feeling that with the Spire watching, it'll be a little bit harder to take it down.
I think Plan A is probably going to be a little more difficult than we thought.
Yeah.
And we have an opportunity to learn stuff here. And
Yeah.
as long as at least some of us can make it out, maybe it can change the rules a little bit.
We'll see.
You continue forward. Frankie, you feel Kit's hand in yours as you are kind of keeping your head swiveling, looking to either side, making sure that there's no trick here, that you're not being, that it doesn't, this corridor of safety doesn't leave you in the middle of a horde with no defense. Looking for any sign of that. The thing that strikes you is that I think as you're sort of doing this, sort of instinctually almost, you realize that you have that moment of realization that even if you saw it coming, what could you do?
We're in it. We're very much in it now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can see, huh?
That's kind of the hope.
Kit, you are only dimly aware of the danger to all sides of you, because what you are experiencing is different than what everyone else is experiencing. You can feel the sort of overwhelming presence of the monolith in front of you. It's like you are leaning over your desk writing while someone stands with just sort of leaning over you, staring at you and your work. It is the oppressive sensation of just being watched. You don't know what you're going towards, but you know that there is will, there is intention, and you know more than anything that you don't understand it. There is this overwhelming sense of something larger than your ability to grasp.
I think I'm just kind of lost in thought, to be honest. I'm staring at the windows and kind of watching ahead, but like I'm not really here right now. I just squeeze Frankie's hand a little bit and keep staring.
Way too soon, you feel the vehicles sort of come to a stop as you... Actually, before that, as you are driving, all of a sudden, being surrounded as you are, thick with the dead, and then they're just gone. From one moment to the next. It's like you are in the middle of them, and then they're just nowhere. They're behind you. As you, Kit, feel this sort of sensation as if you are passing through a barrier of static electricity. Like you feel the hair on your arms and neck just stand up, and then it's over. And as you all begin to sort of look around and notice that you have passed through the ring of the dead, the cars drive for only a little bit further, and then they stop. As Shaw just sort of like pulls out the radio and says, "Okay, Hall, here's good." Says, "Put vehicles into the defensive formation." The two drivers arrange the vehicles into sort of like a makeshift, sort of like a chevron formation, nose to tail, with the sort of armored sides of the vehicle facing out towards the horde. And then the engine's cut. Shaw just sort of sits there for a moment and just exhales, and then turns around, sort of like puts his hand on the back of the seat and turns and looks at all of you and says, "Well, we're here."
I think it's time to find out why.
As you all kind of step out and gather into sort of the like somewhat protected area that the cars create, Hall puts a just duffel on the ground, unzips it, and just inside you can see that the plastic explosives. She says, "I think our best chance is to spread these out amongst all of us. That way,
agreed.
You know, we can. There's a really good chance that we're gonna get separated at some point. We just gotta make sure that these all get placed in, well, somewhere." You start kind of distributing them out. Hall just sort of holds up, just says, "I've got the detonator here. As soon as everybody is clear, or as soon as we can." All right.
Don't forget that you're being watched. Always.
Huh. I'm trying really hard to forget it. It's not really working.
Alright, we have a total of... We have us 5, and we brought how many NPCs?
You brought Hall, Shaw, Nick, and Anita.
Mm-hmm.
Anita, so 4. That makes 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think Casey's going to be like, I think the best call here is 3 teams of 3 this close. I just want to make sure that we've all got enough eyes on each other and that no one team can be whatever happened at the bunker. We don't... It's not that the rules have changed, we're just learning more about them now, and we just have to make sure that we're there to back each other up.
Shaw nods, says, "Agreed. There's a really good chance that... I mean, we're all thinking it. There's a good chance that at some point before today is over, our current status quo is going to change pretty significantly. There's a good chance we're going to have to shoot our way out of this." But he just sort of looks out at the horde, which looks much more daunting from this side of it as it is around you. And he just says, "If it comes to that, I'm not sure we're going to make it."
How thick is this thing?
The ring?
The spire.
The spire itself.
The spire itself, so where you were standing, let's kind of go with that. Where you're standing, there is rubble all over the place that looks like the remnant of the building that this spire grew up through.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately around you, there's just tons of rubble from a building. Not a particularly large one, certainly not like any kind of skyscraper or anything like that, but still a full city building nonetheless. There's still part of it that is standing on one side of the spire, although standing might be a pretty generous term for the way that it is situated. The spire itself is probably not much larger around than that building was, but it is significantly taller. From here, looking up at it, it might as well reach out into space. There's a sort of... Looking up at it, there's a few things that you notice. One, first and foremost, as you're looking up, it seems like there's a distortion of perspective here, as you can't quite seem to wrap your mind around its dimensions. Like, at one moment looking probably no taller than in like a large skyscraper, and then at the next seemingly stretching out infinitely into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it, however, from a distance, what looked like just sort of slate or sort of solid surface, looking at it now, it looks a lot more... You notice like sort of a rippling in it. A sort of like the whole thing is at all moments in motion. It almost looks like ferrofluid a little bit. But more solid than that.
It's like what Damascus steel looks like, and like the watery aspect of it, but it's actually watery.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost like an oil slick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If this thing comes down in one piece, there's a chance that we could just walk out along the top of it before they could climb up over it, but that's kind of a last resort.
Yeah.
I think our best bet's probably taking the creek out.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. Is there anybody else inside this circle?
You sort of glance around. And as you do, you make a few notes as you're looking around, first at the horde, and then around you. In the horde, you can see periodically some of the small, sort of like weird, faster ones, the ghouls, like sort of running on all fours through the crowd. In some cases, you can see as they like leap over some of the others to get through. You don't see any of the larger ones, the ogres, but you do see evidence that they are present. As occasionally you'll see like a structure just sort of collapse. You'll see you'll hear them bellowing in the distance. And then as you look and you turn and look, Kit, sort of far away from you across the circle, you watch as disentangling himself from the ring, you see the man in the pinstripe suit walk in, sort of stops out in the open, turns and looks towards you, and then just proceeds directly towards the spire.
I'm going to start doing the same. I'm just going to start walking towards it.
All right, who's going with Kit?
Frankie follows.
And then let's send.
Could be.
How about we send Anita or Nick, maybe?
Let's make sure we've got a good balance of skills with each team.
I think maybe Anita, because Anita's from your team, or like
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then the second team, we'll call this Casey's team.
Casey, do we want to go Casey, Maisel, and Gabby, and then put the remainder of the NPCs together?
It's up to you.
I'm asking the other players first if there are any NPCs.
Player
that they would
question,
like to...
not a character question.
Yeah.
Huh?
Above board.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
that's a good mix of skills, to be honest. So
Yeah, it's not bad mix of skills.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think then Casey would probably be like, all right, let's have us three together. Maisel and Gabby, and then Hall, Shaw, Nick. Your team three.
Okay.
We've got a tall order knocking this thing down. If there's a way into it, or if there's anything that you find written on it, radio in. As much as we need to knock this thing down, we have an opportunity here to learn something.
The radios are still working this close to it, right? There's no like weird interference.
You test it.
I'll
yeah,
test
they seem to be working. Yeah.
Over.
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool.
Also, before everybody splits up, I'm going to I traced the map. I traced the like map of like the ring on like while we were like in the bus and stuff, and like basically did my best to like plot out like best, or I think places of least resistance based on like buildings, the like the buildings, the creek, and all of like the places like if things go completely south, these are the best places to escape the ring from.
So here's the thing. I think this close, Maisel, you can actually see the creek, and you can see already that it's not going to be a viable method of escape, as they are walking into it and basically have almost sort of created. It's kind of more terrifying than the barrier in a way, because you watch many of them have. They've sort of almost created like a beaver dam of their bodies.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Well, damn.
Okay.
It was low hanging fruit, y'all.
Shaw just says, "All right, look, we're here to take this thing down, and we're here to gather information. But as you get out as quickly as you can, you plant your explosive, and then you move." He says, "All right, everybody, we're gonna." Says, try to keep it at, we'll say, half an hour. Everybody synchronize watches here.
Yep.
The different teams have sort of synchronized. So, okay.
Beep boop.
Okay.
As soon as that thing comes down, it's safe to assume the barrier, whatever's keeping them out, also comes down.
Mm-hmm.
And with that kind of noise, you can bet which direction they're going to be going in.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're on a window, people. Let's go. And then you just kind of split into your...
Is anyone here carrying stress?
Actually, yes, everybody is.
Cool.
Cool. I assumed that we all took stress
Okay.
from
How much?
Well,
Just one?
Everybody has
I
one
was-
right now.
I pushed a roll last session.
Okay.
True. So
So-
you have 2 right now.
I have 2.
Before we go, can we do like a quick...
Wait, sorry, just real quick. To be clear, did you push the roll? When did you push the roll?
Last session
know.
when we were
I think
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
we
before
probably-
Denver.
I rested.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
you're right. It would have been. You're right.
So you're just at
I
1.
passed,
Yeah.
Never mind. Cool.
Question about the nature of this stress. Is this going to be ever pervasive stress, or can I shepherd everyone into a group hug pre-split huddle and just give a little bit of good vibes?
Yeah, we'll say that you can.
I'm
tell you
sure
what.
the stress will come back later.
I'll tell you what. I will allow it to work for,
Everyone.
as it turns.
Group
I'll allow
hugs.
4 of you.
1, 2,
Alright.
3. Okay, well, let me clear their stress then.
Okay.
Hey, before we go, be safe. Right? Please. Don't give me weird looks. Don't fight it. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Group hug now. No looks.
Casey gets in there.
I think, honestly, I think that you should clear your own. I think I will keep the stress just because I'm so focused on where Pinstripe is right now.
Are
But
you sure? Will that stress
Yeah.
sharpen you? Okay. We'll just still have the group hug, but then your stress
that's
is
fine.
different.
But
and can't be
I
erased.
just am paying
Hug,
attention
Nick
to him.
Until we meet again.
And while we're all kind of huddled together, I'm gonna say I love you guys.
Love you
That's it.
guys.
Love you too.
Mhm. Yep.
We'll see you all in 30 minutes. 30 fucking minutes.
I think also right before everyone leaves, I'm just going to tug on Shaw's shirt and just be like, "Come back, okay?"
He looks at you and just says, "Yeah, you too. You've been through too much for it to end here."
Same goes for you.
He sort of hesitates for a moment and then just pulls you into a hug and just holds you tight.
No.
I give him a hug back. Okay, everyone, make sure to keep your maps. The escape roads might not be good, but at least you know where the roads are.
We have meetup points.
Yep.
Even if we get separated along the way, we know where we'll all end up.
I'll say, as additionally, I'll just to sort of tack on as you pull out of the hug, Shaw's hand just sort of goes up and just sort of very lightly, just sort of on your cheek, and then just sort of,
Oh,
he then just sort of
the cheek move.
and then he just moves off.
It's so awkward. I love
In
it.
just a rare display of non-stoic, you as you are watching him go back to his team, you see Hall sort of watching with a quirked eyebrow and just a very a half smirk, which quickly is gone.
I think Basil's too
They practically kissed, you guys. That's the level we're looking
he
at
hugged and he
here.
touched my cheek, and we're both like,
I think as they're walking away, Casey will just remark loudly enough for Maisel to hear, or loudly enough for Maisel to hear to Gabby, suppose we'll have another room open then soon, huh?
I just start cackling.
Basil doesn't look at anybody, but it's like you've never seen Basil blush as hard as she just blushes. Like,
Okay.
That's good. Zeke's starting to smell. He needs his own space. Teenagers.
The three groups sort of split and approach the monolith from different directions. You sort of each acknowledge each other as you sort of split off. As you, Kit, you approach the monolith, you reach the base of it, where you're not really sure what you're looking for, but there doesn't appear to be any kind of opening or anything like that. But you keep walking and you approach the base until you are standing right in front of it.
I've never been this close. Do I still feel that, like, invited sensation?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I'm gonna look over at Frankie and Anita. Does it look solid to you?
Anita looks up. She says, I mean, it does, but also not. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like looking at it. It's like I don't want to look at it, but I also can't look away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm genuinely.
What does it feel like?
So Kit,
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Poke.
Yeah, Kit, you reach forward.
I think I'm still holding Frankie's hand with one hand, just because I'm like a little paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
But I am gonna reach forward and just kind of gently put my hand against it, just like fingertip first.
Yeah. As you reach for it, nothing happens until you're about maybe a couple of inches away, and then you see as your sort of fingers reach out for it, you watch as, like, part of this sort of shifting surface, 5 points, sort of like 5 little protrusions reach out for your fingers as you reach out for it.
Ooh.
As you reach forward, you feel the connection as your fingers touch these points, and you feel not a sort of gentle tugging on your fingers.
You try.
Like it's trying to pull in. Ugh.
It's
Bad
not
touch.
like you kind of like you move your hand away and you can move it away pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try again and the same thing happens.
I'm gonna look to Frankie. Does
What
it
is it?
happen to you? Try.
Suppose so. Okay.
Frankie, you reach forward and the same thing happens to you.
Okay.
Strange.
You can feel that sort of gentle tugging sensation as your hands make contact with this like fluid, which feels cool around your fingers, but not like wet or anything like that. Just sort of a cool sort of sensation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're touching something that is liquid without getting wet.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know
I
what
was
it's
where
like.
Gabby's
It's like
just whacking it with a stick.
it's like when you're wearing like a latex glove and you put it in water.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. It's not
Where
a
you can
pleasant
feel like it feels
thing.
like your hand is submerged in some sort of liquid, but then when you move it away, it's not wet.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna look to Anita and I'm gonna pull out our portion of the explosives.
Well, we're here, right?
Yeah.
Might as well.
But
Well, where do we?
He's gonna be in there. Oh.
Yeah.
I have to know. I have to know. I'm sorry. I can't come this far and not.
Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah. Me too.
We planned him here, and
She says, if there's an inside, maybe that's a better place to put it.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna step toward it.
Yeah. You move towards it, and as you do, you can you watch as, like, a section of it sort of, like, bulges out to meet you as you move close, and then you feel that sort of sensation, like submerging yourself in water as you step through, and for a moment, everything is dark. You feel like you have been buried alive. You can't breathe. You can't feel anything except for this sort of cool sensation around you. And there is a moment, a split second that stretches on eternally, where you think this is it. It's over. And then you're through. I'll cut over to Casey's group as the three of you step forward. Having sort of gone through similar experimentation here, sort of standing there looking at this thing.
I'm just
Like-
imagining what happens if, and just like sticking my head in and trying to get it out. Probably a really bad idea.
I mean,
but that's like one
yeah,
of those
I mean-
invasive thoughts that you really, really want to act upon.
Casey's like, Casey will like reach out and like touch it and pull a hand away and touch it and pull a hand away.
I want to see if I can grab it. Like when it reaches out, can we like?
Yeah, you
Is it
try.
like goo?
It's not really like goo. If anything, as you close your hand around it, it's like it flows out around your hand, and like it engulfs your fist
Yeah.
as it
I
closes
just keep
over
thinking
it.
about those toys with all the little like metal pieces that you like push on them when you see the impression
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
your hand or
Yes,
whatever.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like as you like go to grab it, it flows around your grasp and sort of engulfs your fist as you sort of grasp, and you can feel that sort of same gentle tugging sensation. But yeah, you can't like grab a hold of anything. Every time you try, it just seems to sort of flow out of your grasp.
So do we know that Kit has gone through?
I don't think
Did
you
they
can
tell
see
us?
them from here.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, they didn't tell us on the walkie.
I didn't tell.
We don't know.
Yeah, I think
I'll-
Casey
Yeah,
will
go
pick
up on
up
the walkie.
Casey will pick up the walkie and be like, this thing keeps trying to shake my hand. Anybody else getting that?
You get Shaw back saying, "Yeah, it's weird as hell. My guess is, if there's weak points to plant the explosives, it'll be, I don't know,
Inside.
It seems weird to say that about. Yeah.
Think we can like walk into it?
Well, no, wait,
One
don't.
way to find out.
Well, Nick already did it, so I'm gonna go ahead and say yes.
Fuck's
I'm
sake,
gonna
Nick.
grab some of the explosives and go. All right.
I think
Take myself
Casey's
up and just run in.
Too much for that. I think Casey's just gonna grab Maisel's hand and be like, "Fuck it," and then in we go.
In we
Last
go.
one in, wash his dishes for a month.
No.
Okay.
That's up to the council to decide.
God.
Half of them
Look
are
at me.
here.
I'm the council now.
Half the council's here. Like,
Yeah.
Have a seat, young Skywalker. Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
anyway,
I tackle this thing and I go through, hopefully.
all right.
I imagine there's like a squelching, like, chunk.
You all experience the sort of similar feeling of being like buried or like drowning in like mud or something like that, and then you're suddenly through. Let's see. We'll start with Maisel. Maisel, you are standing in the dark. And as you look around, you know that you're not in the walls of this thing, if that's what you can call them. But you also, not much changed visually from being inside it to where you are now. The other thing that you note is that before you could feel your friends around you. You could hear their breathing. You could hear the sort of shuffling sounds that their clothes made as they moved. But right now, it's just silent. And gradually you become aware. It's wrong to say that it is dark here. It is not dark. You can see perfectly well. It's just that everything around you, stretching in every direction, is just black. But looking down at yourself, you can see your hands, you can see your body. As clearly as if you were out in the sun.
Okay.
What do you do?
Do I still have like all of
Oh,
my
yeah.
like okay.
Everything
All my
you came in here
weapons.
with.
And like if I turn around to try to like touch the wall where I came from, what happens?
There isn't one.
Cool.
But as you turn around, what you see instead, there is a door. Freestanding. No wall. There's something familiar about that door, but you can't quite place it. Like it's something that's coming out of something deep and forgotten in your mind.
Okay. I'll walk. I mean, there's nothing else, like, there's no other thing in the room, so I will go to the door.
Yeah. You, go up to the door. And as you reach for the handle, you notice the sort of scratches in the door around where, like, the handle attaches to the door.
Yeah.
And it triggers a memory of that doorknob breaking, and your dad had to unscrew the doorknob to replace it. And in so doing, kind of scratched some of the varnish on the door, some of the paint.
This is my door. Some fucking Jedi temple shit. Alright, and then I will open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you open the door and step through into your room. As you step inside, it's bizarre being in here because it's like a place that you knew so intimately well you had sort of almost begun to forgotten the contours of.
Yeah.
You step in, and the first thing you notice is that you're not alone in here. You see Casey just sort of laying out on the floor with a textbook in front of her, and a pile of D&D books on one side. And as you sort of look, you remember this. There is no motion in the room. It's almost like you have stepped into a still image.
Yeah.
As you look around the room, everything is exactly as you remember it. The sunlight streaming through your curtains, creating a patch on the ground, on the floor where that sort of illuminates where you would have been sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Except you're not there.
If I look down on myself, am I still wearing what I was wearing, or am I now wearing what I used to be wearing?
No, you're wearing clothes that you haven't worn in a very long time.
Did I leave the door open?
You did.
Can I, if I look back through the door, does it
See
look...
the hallway outside of your room.
Okay, cool. And like nothing's moving, it's not like just like a lo-fi image, but it's like
Nope.
perfectly still.
Perfectly still.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to Casey and just like, hey.
There's no reaction.
Okay. Okay. I think I will I'm gonna go through my drawers and see if this is based on my memory or if it's based on like an imperfect memory. If there's like things like it only rendered the like outside space. Like I don't know. At this point, Basil's like I don't know where I am. What is this? Who's doing this? How perfect is it?
Yeah, you open the drawers, and as you're going through them, you see your things from then.
Okay.
But you open... It's not just those things. You see your things, and you see a mix of... You see a mix of your things from then, and you see things like a knife covered in old dried blood. You see your notebook that had all of your lists, your intricate plans, your admissions to yourself. You see an old photo that's not yours, but that you remember vividly seeing on the way of a family vacation. People you don't know, people you never knew, when you came across the ruins of their camp.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take just like things that I find useful. Like if I have like a flashlight or like my car keys or just like any objects that I find useful. I'm not bringing my notebook unless I'm gonna flip through my notebook actually and see if it has any if it's just my old stuff or it's like any of the stuff that I've put in like in the last day.
You flip to just a random page, or do you just open it?
I open it first just to see what's in it.
You open it to the first page, and the first page is blank.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like through it.
As you sort of you flip the first page over, and then next, and then start kind of just flipping. As you are sort of flipping through pages, you see like all the pages are blank as you're flipping through it, but then as you are doing that, almost like the sort of stop motion animation, right, that you can do with like flipping through pages, you watch as words begin to appear on the page saying, "I had to do it."
Is that all that it's saying?
And then as you sort of stop noticing that, you stop sort of flipping as you notice that the words are there, you like flip to a page, and it's just written just in the middle of the page, "I had to do it." You flip to another page, "I had to do it." You flip to another page, and it's just the whole page over and over and over again, filling every blank space on that page.
That's very disconcerting. Okay, I'm going to take the notebook with me also, because I feel like that's a clue that Basil doesn't understand right now. Is a little worried that it's like the spire, like Basil at this point is it's reacting to her memories, but also like she's going into like Casey mode of like, is this she's experiencing something of someone else in here and they're just using her memories to like give it, or is the spire trying to like psych Maisel out and be like, this is your memories and also your worst fears. Like she's like, what psychic nightmare am I in? Yeah, so she's taking all of like the things that she would find useful. She's like picking up a backpack and like stuffing it full of like basically making a psychic dream go bag.
Yeah. You finish doing that, and as you like turn around, you see that Casey isn't there anymore. The room is completely empty, and there's no longer sunlight coming through the window.
It's nighttime. I'm gonna look out the window, actually.
You look out the window, and you see a city on fire. It is night. The city is burning. And as you look up at the sky, you see it's not night. The sun is in the sky, but there's something up there that is keeping the light from reaching. Like the sky is wrong.
Fun.
And then Maisel, you are no longer standing in your room, but standing instead in that burning city. And as you look around, you see that this is not a city that you have ever been to or seen anywhere. This place, the buildings aren't sort of the blocky, square-looking rectangular buildings that you are familiar with, but rather a series of metal spires, almost looking like manufactured stalactites or stalagmites that sort of rising from the ground. But you look around and you see the dead. They're not moving, but you see them.
Is the dead... If they're not moving, can I go up to one?
Yeah. And
just really look at it? Like, top to bottom, what does this person look like?
It doesn't... At first, they appear human.
Yeah.
But as you look more closely, you realize that they aren't.
Yeah.
There is anatomy that is unfamiliar to you. There are like bony ridges along the jaw and cheekbones, and eyes that may have at one point been sort of vaguely reptilian, but now are sort of milky and cataract ridden, just like the dead.
I'm gonna open up the notebook again.
You look inside, and you see it's your own handwriting, Maisel. But
Okay.
you see, I had no choice.
Is this... And she's just going to, like, not direct it at anybody, but just kind of at the spire. Or the surrounding world, and like... Is this where you're from?
There's no reaction and no response. I'm gonna cut to Casey.
Holy shit.
Casey,
Yeah, you are, aren't you?
you are have gone through a similar experience of sort of that black space, and you found a door as well. As you sort of step through it, you're in school. It is night. The doors are closed. The lights are mostly off. And as you walk through the hallways, you hear the echoes of voices that at first are difficult to make out, but as you continue to move through this space, you hear them for what they are, and it's your own words echoing at you, words that you haven't spoken in a long time. Like, all right, go ahead, and I want everybody to roll for initiative. All right, and as you move forward, you see this endless expanse of lush forests and strange creatures that move amongst them, and it's just on and on. Different snippets from different times, from different moments of your games as you hear yourself, sourceless, echoing through the halls, the empty halls.
Am I closer to my locker or the room where we held D&D club?
Locker, for sure.
I think Casey's gonna go to her locker, just hearing the echoes of all of the games that she's run.
Yeah, you approach your locker, and you see that it's already open. It's the only locker that is open.
God, of course it would be. She's gonna, I think... And then I think she'll take a look inside of it.
Inside your locker, you see your possessions, many of the things that you kept in there. But the thing that's not really what draws your attention, because you can also see out the back of your locker as well. And as you look out the back of your locker, you see a starfield strewn with rocky debris. And as one of those chunks of rock floats by, you realize that you are actually standing on that chunk of rock. You're no longer standing in the school. You look around and you see an endless expanse of space around you as you stand on this sort of floating chunk of rock. From your perspective, the rock doesn't move, everything else does. All the other chunks are floating and revolving in space, and you realize that in spite of the fact of how serene and calm it all looks, you are hurtling hundreds of miles per hour through space. There's collisions of these rocks around you. But in one place you can see, as the rocks collide, they don't split apart. The pieces of them don't fly off in every direction, but rather stay, as if held by something. Almost like they were caught in some sort of cosmic spider web.
Casey is going to do her best to try and fix that pattern in her mind.
We'll cut to Gabby.
No, thank you.
Pass.
You are...
Okay, fine.
You don't know how you got here. You don't remember anything after you passed through the spire.
Okay.
But
Oh,
suddenly, you are standing in the mountains somewhere. And as you sort of look around trying to get your bearings, you recognize where you are. Because it's a place that has been in your dreams for many years. This is your campsite. from before everything ended.
Oh. And I don't remember how I got here.
You don't?
So do I not have
you
the
remember,
awareness of
you
like
remember,
the spire?
No, you remember that. You remember everything
Okay.
up until passing through it, but nothing after
Okay.
that. You were just here.
Okay.
And
I'm still holding everything?
yep. As you look around, you can see the campsite exactly as it was. The fire is going. There's a steaming hot pot of coffee. There's a cup that has been recently poured. It is exactly the way that you remember it, except for one thing. You are alone.
Okay. Hello? I call out.
Your voice echoes around the valley, where where your campsite is located, and your voice sort of echoes out and reverberates back to you. Hello, 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 and then begins to kind of grow and shift. It doesn't fade like an echo does. It just reverberates and kind of gets louder and then quieter and then louder and quieter and then gradually fades away.
I pinch myself.
You do so.
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
If Casey were here, I say out loud to no one. If Casey were here, the theories would be mind blowing.
Gabby, you're looking around.
What
and
would Casey do?
You see something new.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna
on
walk
the table
around.
next to the cup of coffee. You notice something that wasn't there before, and it's your sketchbook.
Oh, you mean this one on the t-shirts that everyone should order?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the bait.
Yeah. You open the sketchbook to a random page, and you see one of your drawings. It's very obviously yours, but you never did this one. It is a drawing of this valley, a sketch of this campsite, and a sketch of you alone. And underneath it is written the words, "They left me."
No. No, I didn't draw this. I didn't draw this.
As you look up from the sketchbook, you're not in your campsite anymore. You are instead, you are at the university. It is burning. It is covered in smoke. The dead are everywhere. Frozen, not moving. There is no one here. There is only you.
The dead are here. They're around. Yeah. I'm probably gonna have a minor panic attack.
Yeah.
Part of me would hopefully... Well, actually, you know what? Because this is very nicely designed around some of those core character fears. Would it be appropriate to roll or do something to determine, okay, how much am I keeping?
That's actually what I was gonna say. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I need you to roll to handle
I think I
your
need to
fears.
roll. I need to roll
so
for this.
You roll a wits or empathy, and you do not add stress to this,
Okay.
which I don't think you have any. But
Yet. I didn't before now. Okay, we'll go for wits. Am I going to be witty enough? I got one success.
okay, you feel that panic begin to rise in you. You can feel like there is kind of like hot sensation sort of deep in the core of your stomach that rises up into your chest and into your throat and threatens to strangle you. And then you just sort of, there's a part of your mind that clicks. Two facts. One, this is not happening. And two, even if it was, I'm the only one here. No one is in danger. And you manage to kind of push that down and just sort of, you take a deep breath.
Am I still holding that sketchbook?
Yes.
Okay. I open it again. Is that picture still there?
You open it again, and instead of the campsite, you see a sketch of the university. It is not as it is now. It's not ruined in flames. It's just the university. You do, however, also see in the sketch beyond the university, there is rendered on the page, but not as a sketch. You see the spire. It is.
If I look up around me, can I see the spire from this?
Yeah, you look
weird...
up. No. You don't see the spire.
I want to try something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take... I'm going to say, was there like a pencil or a pen or something along with the
There
sketchbook?
wasn't, but as you sort of think about it, you realize that you've been holding one for a while.
I want to see if I can draw or like affect that picture of the spire in any way.
As you tap your pencil to it, it is like dipping the tip of your pencil into like a puddle of paint. And as you do that, it starts creeping up the pencil.
No.
Don't
like that.
Yeah. And then reaches your hand and sort of surrounds your hand. As you are looking at this, it starts going up your arm.
I try to throw it.
Yeah, you...
Like, instinctively, just throw it to the ground.
The pencil and everything, but it's still going up your arm and over your body.
No. No. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It just sort of begins to sort of engulf your body and spread from your shoulder across your chest, up to your neck, around, down your torso, until you are completely covered in this thing, and you feel it creeping up your face to your eyes, and then covers them, and everything goes black. Frankie.
Good.
Frankie, you are...
Your turn.
You don't know... You, like Gabby, don't know how you got here. You remember everything up until passing through the spire. And now you are standing in... Oh, I'm gonna say you're sitting down. You're sitting in a classroom. It is not currently during school hours, however, as you look around and you recognize all of them sort of diligently writing, taking notes from the board, your old JROTC class. And they are all sort of diligently like looking up, taking notes, and looking up, taking notes. The thing that you notice, Frankie, is you're not wearing the same stuff that you were a moment ago. You are wearing your just like you're wearing like whatever you would have been wearing during that time, and you can feel as it is itchy, and it is like your clothes they feel restrictive. You look down at your desk to your notebook, which is blank. You have written nothing in it.
Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes and like try to like to remove the illusion of my itchy clothes.
Okay.
Back to just what I was wearing.
Yeah. I want you to just
now.
give me just a wits roll here.
Excellent.
And don't. Oh, you have no stress. Never mind.
Not yet. Sure, there's time though. One success.
Okay. You close your eyes tight and sort of. You can feel sort of a relaxation as that sort of itchy sensation goes away, and you open your eyes and look down at yourself, and you are once again wearing the clothes that you came in with. However, as you look back up, you're still in the same room, but as you're looking around, it feels smaller. The walls feel closer. You look around the room, and nobody else seems to have noticed anything. They're still just sort of, you can hear the sort of scratching of pencils on notebook as they're sort of taking their notes from the board.
Notes, or is there? I'm gonna look real close just to see if there is something else that they're writing instead, or drawing.
Yeah, you look closely, and as they're writing notes and looking up at the board, you notice they're all writing the same thing. They are all writing words. It's safer inside the walls. And as you sort of look at that, you look at all of them, you kind of glance over at the board, and those words are written over and over again on the board. And once again, the walls have gotten closer.
There, like a doorless room, or is there a door?
As you're looking around the room, you don't remember there being a door before, but now there is one. And as you notice that, you kind of glance around the room, and everybody has stopped writing, and they are all looking at you. Perfectly still.
That's my cue to go. Frankie's kind of backing up towards the door.
Yeah, you stand up, and they all stand up.
All right. That's creepy, he says out loud.
You watch as there's a subtle shift in all of them as they all sort of turn their heads to look past you. As far as you're aware, there was nothing there but a wall a moment ago.
I'd turn around.
Mm-hmm. You turn around. Kit.
Yeah.
Yes?
Haven't you messed with Kit enough?
No.
Haven't you done enough?
Enough.
You love torturing me.
Leave Kit alone.
You step through the outer wall, kind of feeling that sensation of like not being able to breathe, and then all of a sudden you're through. And as you step through, you're standing in a sort of dimly lit space that smells of dust, mostly. And as you look around, you can see everyone else, but all of them are just sort of standing, staring off into nothing.
Yep. Who's closest to me? Probably Frankie and Anita.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm immediately gonna go up to Frankie and see if he's like attached to the wall in any way. Like
Nope.
try to.
Seems like he's freestanding just as you are.
Like snapping in front of his face.
Mm-hmm. No response.
I'm gonna go up to everybody and just try to like shake them, like.
Yeah. There's no response from any of them. Like, they move as you move them, but they are unresponsive completely.
What else is in this room?
It looks like you are inside of the spire, and the inside where you are standing, it looks like just whatever the spire was standing on, whatever ground was there, except that there is a single pillar of it through the center that is rising up out of the ground, that has risen up, and as you kind of follow it up, you can sort of see where it sort of spreads out to some sort of ceiling or barrier or something up above that then just sort of like it all sort of stems from that one spot.
You wanted me, what do you want?
There's no response.
Is he in here?
Nope. You do still feel that sense of invitation sort of localized on that one sort of central pillar.
I'm gonna try to pull everybody away from the walls, see if I can get them to like step forward at all.
They step forward only in so much as to keep themselves upright, seemingly reflexively more than anything else. But no, you can't seem to pull them with you.
I'm gonna reach out the other way to see if that works.
So do what?
I'm gonna see if they are able to be moved the way I can move the dead.
You reach out and you don't feel them.
I'm gonna approach the center beam.
This time, it doesn't seem to even wait for you to reach for it, as it reaches for you. And as it sort of reaches out, you see as it just sort of comes, like the sort of tendril of it that sort of snakes towards you. It doesn't even look like it's coming out of the pillar so much as it is just sort of manifesting in the air between you and it. Until it is touching your chest, and the moment it makes contact, you are pulled through this sort of central pillar. And I think that's where we're going to take our break.
I think I need some chocolate after that.
All right.
Get a warm, comforting drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I finished my tea.
All right. We will be back very shortly.
Well,
Don't go
damn.
anywhere. We'll be back soon.
Let's
No,
get
thank
back
you.
in character.
I'm good. We can talk about Marvel.
Welcome back, everybody. I do love that the first thing that everybody hears upon us coming back from break is Allison going, "No, thank you."
We're done. That's the show. Cliffhanger. Stay tuned for season 3.
So, when we left off, the group had gone into the spire, and each of them, except for Kit, in their own weird little dreamscape situation, their mind palace. Or somebody's mind palace that they just happen to be trapped in. It might not be theirs. And seeing all of her friends in this state, and Kit being unable to do anything about it, delved further into the spire. And that is where we pick up. Kit, you are standing... I mean, it's clearly on a surface. But when you look around, you just see the city. You are high above the city. And you can see it sort of spanning out in every direction from you, from where you are standing. Far below. And you can see the surrounding landscape stretching out in every direction. And you can see clearly where the bunker is. You can see so much further, despite how high you are, you can see so much further than you think you should be able to from this height. You don't appear to be standing in a room, although you are standing on something. You don't feel the breeze that you expect to feel this high up outside. But in this space, you are not alone. The man in the pinstripe suit is standing mere feet from you, just watching you.
What do you want?
His head sort of tilts as he just sort of looks at you. And then you can see that the part of his mouth that can move, as he sort of that is not covered with that sort of whorl of warping sort of like flesh and whatever, just sort of quirks up very slightly, and just a hand raises and just sort of gestures around. This.
Why?
The landscape around you, Kit, vanishes. And instead, you are standing in the middle of an empty star field. Staring into the blackness of space, which surrounds you. As you look around, you begin to feel warmth. And gradually you become aware of a light hitting you from behind. You turn and look in the direction of the light, and you see a sun. You watch as the gases pull together and ignite. And you watch, now that you have a sort of closer point of reference, you see that it's like watching a time lapse. As you watch the birth of this sun, you watch as it sort of grows in size and changes, goes through its sort of birth process, if you will. And you watch as this star begins to capture other objects that are flying through space, pulling them into their orbit, and more as many begin sort of pulling, large pieces begin pulling other pieces into them and forming planets. And then, as you watch the birth of a solar system, you turn and you see what looks like a tiny piece, tiny relative on a cosmic scale, a tiny piece of that spire outside, spiky like ferrofluid that is being activated by a magnet, that is sort of like not quite in any shape yet, seemingly unable to hold one, as it just sort of seems to, the pieces sort of seems to be shifting around. And you watch as it floats towards the sun, and then it stops. And you see, distantly, Kit, a massive field of space debris, of rocks, enormous rocks that are colliding and hurtling through space. And you watch as some of them collide with this thing. And instead of pushing it, instead of taking it with them, they stop, dead in space. You watch this time-lapse of this happening over and over again as this gathers more and more pieces to it. And you watch as a planet forms around it. And you watch as that planet continues to form, first just sort of inflame, molten rock that gradually cools and hardens. And you watch as over time that planet begins to sort of travel through, and you watch as another piece of space debris, this one seemingly made entirely of ice, collides with it. It steams up as the heat from this planet, still cooling but still very hot, begins to sort of create a sheen over it. And you watch as the planet develops an atmosphere. And this continues to happen. And you watch a planet born. And at first you think that you know where this is going. You think that what you're going to see is Earth. But it's not. Over time, you watch as you focus in on this planet. You see civilizations begin. Unfamiliar ones. You see them rise and fall over eons. And then you watch the planet begin to degrade as one of the civilizations, through their technology or perhaps some other means that you are unaware of from this place, from this view, this perspective that you have, begin to poison their world. And then you watch as the spires begin to sprout up all over the place. And you watch from your cosmic perch the chaos spread over this alien world that has been spreading over yours, until there is nothing left. You watch as there is no one and nothing left alive on this world, an entire world of the dead. Eventually you watch it break itself apart, and pieces of this thing that have grown up in the center of this world begin detaching themselves and floating off into space to seek other stars. And suddenly, you are standing once again high above the city of Denver. He looks at you and just says, "Always, worse."
Who are you?
Death. Was someone now one everyone.
And who am I?
He smiles again. Says, "No one."
Then how am I here?
Death.
Why? Why does everything have to die like that? People will die in their own time. Why speed up the process?
For life. Ours.
There is life here. There are people here.
Food. Or life. In a moment, Kit, you see a flash of all of Earth's history, but from a different perspective. You see people and other creatures being born and dying and going into the ground and decomposing, and generations and over the course of thousands of years, millions of years, you watch this happen over and over again. And at the center of Earth, all this time, all of it, feeding this tiny little seed. And then you watch as that seed reaches a point where its surface becomes unstable, and you watch it burst up a singular tendril through the earth, and then another and another. this thing, whatever you understand in a moment, Earth was created as a nursery, as a farm. And the dead, the ones who are walking around, this thing in front of you, they have turned their food, their nourishment, into the reaper that has come to harvest.
So you suck a planet dry and then go to a new one? Come a new one?
Sorry, what did you say?
So you just suck a planet dry and then off to the next one. Go. I didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to... I don't... So what do you want from me?
Looks at you and says, become...
No.
He sort of takes one step towards you and more insistently just says, become...
I'm alive. Just like the people down there. You want us to die? Fine. We'll do it in our own time. We were doing a good enough job killing the planet as it was. Why speed up the process?
He just sort of, he doesn't say, he just looks at you and then says once more, become.
And then what?
You see once again in a flash as your environment changes around you. You see the planet Earth engulfed by this thing as the monoliths, which you now see to be all part of one thing, begin to spread as there are no people left. And as they spread, they cover the surface of the earth with nothing left except for the hordes of the roaming dead, until the earth breaks apart and this thing that is where Earth once rested sends off more of these little seeds of itself. And and you come back to that moment.
So what? I won't be me. Just this. What's the point?
He just sort of looks at you and again just says, "Become." Only this time, Kit, you feel a sense of finality in his words.
Why do you need me? I'm nobody. You said it yourself.
He just sort of looks down and then looks slowly back up to you, Kit. And you feel it coming a moment before it does. I need you to make an endure roll.
Okay. That's fine. And I have 1 stress. So cool. And that is 3 successes, including on the stress die.
All right. You, Kit, feel it coming a moment before it hits, as you feel that same sensation of him reaching out to you with his mind and pushing against you, and just instinctually you push back. And as you do, you can feel... You watch as he is like pushing against you, and you can feel the pressure against you as you feel your feet sliding across the floor slowly, but you are resisting his push as he just sort of like looks at you, Kit. With that many successes, I'm going to say there is a moment as you feel something else, something other than him, something other than the monolith or the thing that it is attached to, whichever it is. You feel everyone else down below trapped.
I'm going to reach out. I want to break it.
Okay.
I'm pushing back any way I can.
All right. I want you to give me a survival roll here.
And I use my drive.
And your drive is?
I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
That adds 2?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Okay.
That is 2 successes.
Okay.
That stress die is stressing me out. But it was a 5.
All of you, in your own sort of space, you see a brief, basically what Kit saw, that sort of the formation of planets around this sort of thing, as your entire space just sort of shifts to that, but you're watching it from different perspectives. Maisel, you are looking up as it is forming in the sky above you, above this city. You watch as it is happening around you. Frankie, you turn around in the classroom and stare out into space. Casey, you were already watching this happening, standing on one of the chunks of rock. and Gabby, as you are looking down at your notebook, suddenly, with eyes that were momentarily covered, now that you look with you look through this thing that has created a sheen over you. You look down at your notebook and you watch this rendered sketching of this same thing happening. You watch all of this happen play out in front of you in a moment, and then suddenly you are all standing inside the spire looking at each other.
Aliens. It's literally aliens. Holy shit, it's actually aliens.
Shaw says, "Can we talk about this later?" He kind of like looks around. He says, "Wait a
Where's
minute."
Kit?
Says, "All right, look. Kit is probably, I don't know, but we need to plant these explosives."
Not before we know where Kit is. What if she's trapped somewhere still?
We don't know anything, except that we need to destroy this.
I have a feeling that wherever Kit is, she's got a better handle on it than we do.
Bree, you're muted.
She's different than us.
Yeah.
We have to stick to the plan, as much as I hate to say it.
Paul says, "Look, all I know is that when we came in here, we lost ourselves for a second. Right? I assume it happened to all of you too?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't know how long we have. We need to plant these explosives and get the hell out of here before it happens again."
Yeah.
Agreed.
Fan out.
Good plan. Look for Kit on your way.
Fine. Do
Yeah,
we see anything in the center, like where Kit may have...
you see the sort of central pillar that sort of rises
Fine.
up that seems to be kind of the sort of root and stem of this whole thing, of this spire.
I hear structural I hear something
Right?
necessary for structural integrity.
That's a support beam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, given what you just saw, it may be that, but it is also the main connector to
Yeah.
the rest of it.
It's the tendril. It's its finger.
You all sort of, you set the explosives there at the center
I
as
never
well
want to hear
as...
the word fingy again.
Many of you set them, sort of setting them around on the edges as well, wherever you can find them. Let's see. I'm gonna have... I need some rolls from you.
Okay.
From the four of you. I need
Yup.
a total of 6 successes. And you can use any roll that you think would be relevant to this scenario.
Okay.
Tick.
Tech, yeah, that'll absolutely... Yep.
I was thinking survival.
Yeah, I'd say that counts.
Yeah.
Neither of those are great for me, but I don't think the other ones really make sense. Within my strength and agility trees.
I mean, mobility I could see working. As
Yeah.
you're sort of moving
Okay.
fast here. You're trying to,
Yeah,
like, get this
that's
done
true.
quickly. Because you don't know
Alright,
how
I'll
long you
take
have
that.
lucidity for, so...
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I'll go for mobility.
Alright, and then Freeman?
I'll probably either do like a survival or scouting, but there's not really a point in scouting. We kind of know the lay of the land. We know what we're doing, so probably just survival, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I take a penalty to mobility, don't I, because of the armor?
Yes.
I think it's just -1 though. Okay,
Yes, I
that's
believe
fine.
so.
That's still...
Alright.
Can I use my drive? I am a survivor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was thinking of like,
Five,
can I use my drive for does what it takes?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll use my drive. I will find a way to solve this.
yeah, for sure.
Heck yeah.
This is the end game. We gotta go.
2
How
successes.
how much do we get for the drive? Again?
You get 2 extra.
Cool. That's what I thought.
Alright, so
2 successes still.
2. You got 2 so far.
2 for here.
2 successes from Frankie. Okay.
Alright.
2 successes.
Okay.
That's your 6. Casey?
I got 0. So I pushed the roll and got a success.
Okay, so that's 7 successes as all of you start like moving, fanning out, and like planting explosives in places that you think would sort of distribute the blast sort of equilaterally around this spire, as well as in this sort of central column. You don't know what it will take necessarily to destroy this central column, but it's very clear to all of you, given what you saw, that this is sort of the main lifeline, as it were, to the spire. As you finish up, Nick goes, "Okay, I think that's the last of them. Let's get the hell out of here."
That's all we got here.
Is it okay if Frankie does one last look around, like? Maybe I'll do scout now.
Sure.
Maybe I'll do scout now in the hopes to be like some trace of Kit or something.
Yeah, I'd like to support
evidence.
that.
Okay.
I want to help.
All right. So
It doesn't feel something still feels wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Shaw is seeing this happen, and says, "Hall, Nick, Anita, with me." He says, "I'm gonna make sure that." I says, "Do whatever you need to do. I'm gonna make sure that our fortifications are holding, and that we're ready to get out of here as soon as possible."
Yeah, I mean, Casey was going to say, I need you 3 to secure us a good exit. We're going to take one last look for Kit.
Yeah, so the 4 of them just like they reach kind of the wall of the spire, and they sort of hesitate for a moment and then just push through and vanish. You have no idea if they made it through or not.
God, I hope. May I make leadership? May I use this to make like a leadership role, like I'm calling shots?
Yeah, absolutely.
To give die to people?
Yeah.
Cool. I have a shitload of dice for this.
Ooh, I can hear him.
Sounds like hope.
That is 3 successes.
Okay.
So I will give a die to Frankie, 1 to Hall, who is holding the detonator.
Great idea.
Yeah.
And 1 to Mason.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So on the scout rolls, Freeman.
Yes, let me do that.
And I believe you have an extra die from Gabby helping you,
And Casey. Yep.
There's that one.
and also from Casey if you want to use that. Yeah.
I did.
Yep.
I did use the Casey one. I will do that as
Okay.
well. So. Also, clickety clack.
Clickety-clackety.
2.
Okay. There is a moment, Frankie, as you're sort of looking around. You don't see any traces of Kit, but there is a moment as you are sort of. You can still feel. You feel a connection to Kit, and you know that central pillar, that central thing, that she passed through it.
Oh boy. Yeah, she. I think I know where she went.
Where?
I gestured to the thing that we just loaded up with. To the pillar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great. It makes a lot of sense, but also we just covered that thing in plastic explosives.
Well, they're not detonated yet. We going after her, right?
We can't repeat 3 years ago.
No.
I agree.
Let's go.
Everybody stick together. And Casey's gonna grab the hands of the 2 people closest to her.
I think we all, like, I grabbed Gabby's hand. If there's a free hand,
All 4, we're just hold hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Make a chain. Make a chain.
All right. You all rush forward towards the pillar, and as you rush to meet it, it does the same. And suddenly you are all standing high above Denver, looking around at the city and the surrounding area, and you see Kit locked in a struggle with the man in the pinstripe suit. Neither of them coming to blows, neither of them touching each other, but you can see as they sort of seem to be locked in sort of like a mental struggle, Kit is sort of sliding backwards a little bit across the lack of floor.
He's distracted.
Casey's like, you know what would be really distracting for him right now? Bullets.
Okay.
Light him up.
On it.
All right.
We came so prepared for this.
We're gonna fucking kill him.
Wait. I think would my suppressive fire somehow come into play with this?
How does that work?
I need to pull it up again.
Okay.
But keep
So,
going while I
First
find
and
it.
foremost, I'm gonna say Maisel. No hesitation.
Literally none.
Go ahead and give me your
I won't
ranged combat roll
hesitate,
here.
bitch.
No, Basil and Frankie and Kid have been in scenarios similar to this in the past few months.
Yep.
This is just supernatural. Okay, so that's 5, and I don't get anything for, like, the kind of gun I'm using, right?
You should get, there should be a gear bonus.
It's a
Okay.
handgun, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
it's got a +1 or 2.
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've actually mechanically shot a gun. Most of the time it's in story or I don't shoot.
I was gonna ask about.
I'm gonna...
A handgun
Weapons, okay,
+2.
plus
Damage
2, great.
2.
And yeah, it's damage 2, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely. Okay. I'm going to push the roll.
Okay.
Remember, you've got a Casey die.
Oh, right.
So add that to your,
Okay.
All right. So take 1 point of stress and then roll
Yep.
the whole thing.
Hell yeah. 2 successes.
Okay. So you fire, sort of getting like suddenly thrown into this situation. You fire center mass just as like the easiest target to hit.
Yeah.
And you see as he takes it, and you see as his head sort of turns towards you, still like kind of like locked in this struggle with Kit, but his head turns towards you as he becomes aware of all of you being there. Kit, you also become aware of everyone else there. And hold on, just one second.
Suppressive fire does nothing for me because it's only one target.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But the one target is many. There are many contained within. Therefore,
No, we won't play that. That's fine. That's
so
fine.
philosophically,
Okay.
Psychically, there are lots of people there.
Okay, yeah, you fire at him, and you can see that he takes the shot bodily, and like just sort of doesn't really seem to react too much to it, but you can tell that it has like you've done some damage. Anybody else doing something? All right, Frankie, what you got?
For sure. Oh, well, I think what I'll do is I'll move up, probably next to Kit, and kind of just grab her hand, and then blap.
Okay, go ahead and make your ranged
With the
attack.
boomstick. I just got just one 6.
Okay. Yeah, you fire Frankie at the exact same time that he's just sort of like, just releases sort of some sort of psychic blast at you, and as you fire, you like can feel that like this pounding in your head, and you take a point of damage.
Ooh, I'm like
Psychic
You are now
damage.
bruised.
bruised. Okay.
Ooh, brain bruise.
Yeah.
ouchie.
That's a confession.
All right. Who else is doing something?
I would like to use shotgun. Okay.
So there's a shotgun.
Yep. Go ahead.
It's so many dice. That is 2 successes with shotgun. Okay.
Okay.
Shotgun. Okay.
Shotgun deals 2 damage.
Okay.
Is that per success?
Yeah. This thing has endured already in just a few moments that you've been here has soaked up more damage than any single creature should be able to do. And he is still standing. And Casey, you also reach that retaliatory sort of. You also are bruised.
I'll leave my attack up to the group. I've got this AR-17. Okay. I also have a spear still.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to continue on with bullets, or do I try to shove this thing through its
What if
neck?
you just put the spear in his face?
I could put the spear in his face.
Yeah.
You want to go this? Okay.
Okay, Gabby.
That's
give me
only 9 versus 10 dice, so hopefully
Right.
that doesn't make a big difference.
Give me a close combat roll here.
Come on, pointy stick. I got 3.
Okay. So Gabby, there's just a hail of gunfire that is like going towards him. As you sort of time your moment, as you sort of is holding off Kit and also blasting your friends. You
Kebab.
time it and you run forward. And as he got 0 successes, that means, Gabby, that you have gotten, by default, you've gotten 1 more success than him, plus 2 additional successes, which deal extra damage for each, plus 1 extra damage for each success. So,
Okay.
for each
What does the spear do? Spear does 2 damage.
2, so that's a total of 5 total to him.
Okay.
As you run up, Gabby, tell me how you take down Pin's friend.
Poetic.
The spear has not failed me.
The spear is so good.
2 for 2. Okay, I want to wait, obviously, until there is a gap. I'm watching. I see Frankie go up to stand by Kit. I see everyone firing. I'm waiting until there is a break, and I notice the retaliation, and I try to time it right when he's in the middle of when I see that indication of, because I'm seeing the pain probably, right, and some sort of response from Frankie and Casey. Right as I'm seeing that response from Casey, I'm rushing, coming up from behind, and I want to thrust it from behind through, so it's coming out of the chest as much as I can to destabilize and even lift if I can.
Okay. Yeah, so Gabby.
And I just yell, "Get him, Kit!"
Yeah, you run up from behind, impaling him through. So as he's sort of distracted and focused on Kit and the others just sort of sitting there, he loses track of you. And then there's this moment, Gabby, that sort of this memory flashes through your mind of a pouring rainstorm. You in sort of frantically trying to start a car and glancing up and seeing him step out of the gas station and just sort of stare at you and yell out, and then suddenly the horde is surrounding your car, and in that moment you thought for sure that was the end for you. And you come back to this moment, charging up behind him, stabbing the spear through the chest. He just Kit, you immediately stop sliding backwards, and you can feel that you have fully gained the upper hand here. What would you like to do?
Finish him off. Finish him off.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm pushing against him.
Okay. I want you to give me just a I want you to give me just a wits. And you can add stress to this if you wish.
Can the power
but
of friendship
here's the
be
other
helping
thing.
her?
I also want you to add. I want you to add 1 die for each of the others here.
Yes, it is the power of friendship.
Yes.
Hey, so remember how I was like super like I don't know what I'm gonna do for like my level up ability after last time?
Did you pick?
I added 1 to my wits.
Yes. Good.
A thing that I didn't know, even though we talked about it, I didn't know what decision you'd made. So here we are.
Cool. And I have the option to add the stress?
Oh no, you need to add the stress.
Okay. You said I can add stress, and I was like,
Oh,
that
because
mean I don't have to?
because in the past, like, just like it's not a handle your fear. Right? It's not like I mean,
Got
just
it.
in terms, it's not like handle your fear.
Yes.
Like, you have to. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. That is 2 successes. I had 3 ones, but none of them were the stress die.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right. Okay. 2 successes, you said?
Yes.
He also got 2 successes, but what that means is that both of you take damage. And since he has none left to take, Kit, you feel that strain as it sort of like runs through you. You can feel as you push back, kind of gaining the upper hand. You can feel this, after everything you've seen over the last 3 years, everything you've seen in the last few minutes, everything that you've experienced and gone through, you can feel the rage and pain of that just sort of swelling up through you, kind of starting in the pit of your stomach and just rising up as you sort of channel that through yourself, through this connection that you have to him. And suddenly, at one point, you hear someone screaming. You hear the sound, this sort of like bestial, guttural yell. And you realize that that scream is coming from you. As you just screaming out, just pushing against this thing, you watch as, impaled on Gabby's spear, bits of him begin to just sort of flake off. And just sort of, as they do, just sort of dissipating in the air like ashes. Until finally, he just falls apart as the pieces of him disappear into the air, and there's nothing left of him. Kit, you sort of fall to the ground after this exertion. Your mind feels like there are 100 bells ringing inside of it. You are spent. As you sort of collapse, Frankie kind of is there to kind of catch you a little bit, so you don't fully fall.
You're okay.
We gotta go.
Yeah, it's time to leave. You Kit?
Yeah.
Good job.
You did it.
You hear just sort of a crackling of the radio, very distorted, but you can make out Shaw's voice. Like, I don't know what you did, but you guys better get... They're moving. Coming closer.
Yeah, Casey's just gonna be like, we're on our way.
We run.
Tell Hall to be ready.
All right. You kind of look around for a moment, and you're like, how do we get down?
Yeah.
Oh, is there not like the pillar still to go? Oh.
No. As you sort of like are looking around, and the sort of the question sort of begins to occur to you, you are just suddenly back where the pillar is.
Convenient.
Oh, great.
God, that's
Love that
trippy as
alien tech.
Yeah.
Now run.
shit. Casey, again, and hearing the word aliens is like, literally aliens. literally aliens.
Talk about this in the car.
Yeah, fucking running.
Okay. You run for the edge of sort of the wall of the monolith. And as you do, you feel that same sensation of like passing through, like being fully submerged in some viscous substance. For a brief moment, this time you think it's not going to let you go. And then you're through. You are outside and you see some distance away the SUV and the bus. You see Hall and Shaw are in the driver's seats of each, as sort of firing out. Nick is currently sort of sticking out at the top of the bus, firing at thousands of the dead that are closing in, that are suddenly moving in from every direction. Right now, this is the first time I've ever done this in a game, but this is a size 6 horde. That means
Great.
1,000 plus.
Okay.
The threat level right now is definitely 3 or higher. It is 3.
Yeah.
Which makes the horde threat 9.
Okay.
All of you immediately take a point of stress.
Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, so you so to defeat, which is not going to happen, but to defeat the horde, you would need to elect 3 of you to make rolls and gain a cumulative you need to get 9 successes in order to defeat the horde. However, you're not trying to defeat the horde, you're trying to fight your way to your vehicles.
Yeah.
So from you, I'm going to need 5 successes. So you can go ahead and elect 3 of you, and the other 2 can assist any one person's roll.
Is a leadership role helping?
No, I don't think so. I think that's its own thing.
Great.
I believe that is its own thing.
Okay.
I am good at mobility.
So let me just get to what you need.
Yeah.
Here.
What skills can we use? Because I know there's specific
Right.
skills that we're allowed to use.
True.
I mean, we're running to the vans, that's why I'm like,
Yeah, mobility.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
need. Right now the threat level is 3, which means that you need. You can do endure, force, mobility, ranged combat, or stealth technically. You know what? I think then in that case,
Kit.
sorry, looking at this, I'm realizing. So I think this is actually, I was wrong. The threat level is actually 4. So it's a swarm threat of 10.
Yep.
So, but still,
Okay.
I'm not changing the number that you need. You still need 9 or 5. Sorry, you still need 5.
Okay.
Okay. I guess.
So with a threat level of 4, it's only force, mobility, and ranged combat. Because they're not like on top of you just yet, so no close combat. But yeah.
Okay,
I
I've got
can
a
provide
6
cover with ranged combat.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a 6 ranged combat.
I have a 7 mobility.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm worse than all of you at all of those.
Okay.
All right, cool.
But Frankie and Maisel can. Sorry. So just to be clear, the 3 who are doing the rolling is Gabby, Casey, and Kit, right? Okay. So then Maisel and Frankie, you can choose any one of them to assist. Give them an extra die. So who are you helping?
I'm probably helping Casey.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Frankie, who are you helping?
So Gabby is doing kind of like attacking more, and Kit is doing.
I'm running.
You're kind of running. Well, I guess it makes sense flavor-wise, and just because I am helping Kit, because Kit state that I am helping physically
right, because you're
too.
sort of like half.
Exactly.
In
So
my
I'm
mind,
here-
you never let go of each other's hands, so that
You're
makes
still,
sense.
At this point, Kit being as exhausted as she is, you're like kind of sort of
Need
both
help.
running together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So add one.
Come on.
Yeah, add one.
Kind of wish I could use the lucky spear here, but we'll stick with the AR-17.
I'm so scared.
I only got no,
Uh,
that's a 5. I got 2 successes.
I also got 2.
Don't forget your stress.
I did roll my stress.
Was a 3. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, and I want to make sure that I did
hold
add
on.
my 1 from me.
Hold on. Just to be clear, the people who were rolling were Gabby, Casey, and Kit. Yeah? Okay. Cool.
Yes.
So that's how many. Okay, just making sure. So
I'm counting the total.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking that like I was not forgetting. Okay, so that's a total of 7. Okay.
Unfortunately, one of my stress die reads a 1.
There it is.
Unfortunately, one of my stress die does read 1. So that's a mess up.
It sure is.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's
Casey.
fine. No.
This is going to be a roll on the Walker attack table.
Yeah, I think probably what happens is that there's a little bit of Butch and Sundance Kid going on here with Casey and Maisel. Like Casey's covering Maisel and Maisel's covering Casey. And Casey's just very focused on like get all of these people that I am responsible for to those vehicles so we can go. Like,
All right. So go ahead and roll on that table. You're rolling a D66.
just gonna. All right, I'll roll. It's a D66. I'll roll both my stress die.
Okay.
That's a 56.
Okay. So, Casey, you are sort of firing into this crowd as you're just going, right? Just running, making a run for the vehicles as you fire off into the crowd. Are you wearing armor?
No, I do not believe that Casey is wearing armor.
Okay, cool. You are firing off into the crowd, and as you see, like, kind of Kit and Frankie sort of stumbling a little bit, you sort of, like, help them and kind of push them along, like, go! And you, as you are running, we're not anticipating them coming from inside the spire.
Bastards.
What?
As they seem to be coming through it, you feel a hard impact with your back as you get thrown down to the ground, Casey. And you, as one of the runners, one of the ghouls, leaps on your back, pushing you to the ground. And you feel a bite.
Oh no. No.
In the back, right above the shoulder blade.
Yep. Casey is gonna scream, and then she's gonna try and roll with it, and just jam her shotgun into the thing and pull the trigger.
Yeah, go ahead and give me that ranged attack.
Ranged / very close combat.
Yeah. That is 2 successes.
Yeah, you just like you like scream, sort of like rolling, using kind of it's like the momentum a little bit to kind of.
I think it's
yeah,
like she screams more in frustration than pain. I think in that moment.
Yeah. You turn immediately as you sort of throw it. It didn't have like full purchase on your back as you sort of throw it off of you and just fire into it, just sort of scattering it across the pavement here, and just continue running. and as you sort of like blindly stand up and run, you run right into a group of the others that are sort of like coming, that were sort of getting a little closer, a little ahead of the others. As you sort of muscle your way through, you feel another bite on the back.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, come on.
You continue just sort of running, sort of like shaking them off and just go. I'm gonna say that Gabby, you, since this was actually no, that's not how that works. Never mind. Gabby, you run up. I think like all of you have sort of turned and seen. Hold on, I need a different thing here. You turn and see, almost like in slow motion, you see Casey get knocked to the ground, and you watch as this thing just sort of rears up and just takes a bite. Casey throws it off and shoots it, runs right into a group of others, and you can see them again, as they push through, sort of hitting and shooting when necessary, just rush through that group, as they run to catch up with the rest of you at the vehicles, bloody and clothes sort of torn. Casey sort of reaches you as the swarm sort of closes in.
I think she's just gonna like choke out to the to whoever's like driving. Like, go. We need to go. Hall blow it as soon as we're clear.
She just sort of looks over. She wasn't watching this whole thing, so she just kind of nods. She's like, "You got it." Fires a little bit more out the window, and says, "Get in." As like everybody sort of loads up. Anita is already loaded up in the SUV. Nick in the bus with Shaw. Where are the rest of you going?
I'm going on wherever Casey is.
Okay.
I'm staying together. I think.
Okay, everybody in the bus.
I think we're all in the
It's
bus.
just everybody
Especially if we all
into the
saw
bus.
this,
Yeah.
We're all in the bus.
Yeah.
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 You begin just sort of driving away, as the group of you drive forward and push through the horde. Hall just sort of over the radio says, "It's early, but I'm blowing it now. We need an opening. We need something."
Do it.
And you watch as there's and you see the spire behind just start to, like, the base of it just explodes outwards, as the whole thing sort of shifts for a moment and then just begins to fall, collapsing downwards. As it does, you can see it starts to tilt and fall as pieces of it fall off of it and slam down into the crowd. Shaw doing his best to sort of drive around, zigzagging through. What are y'all doing as this is happening?
Firing indiscriminately out the windows to try and like create an opening for us.
Okay. The van, or the bus, continues to drive through the horde, and then you can see them piling up on the sides of the bus as it kind of goes through, and then you feel as the bus is sort of coming to a stop, you can see Shaw. He slams on the steering wheel and goes, no, as the bus is sort of slowly coming to a halt through the mass of them. And then you see an explosion, and then another one. Frankie, you look around and you can see there are people standing on rooftops, just firing down into the crowd. clearing your way.
What people?
And as that happens, you see the bus just sort of starts to move again as the ones immediately in front get cleared. It is a harrowing next several minutes as this process repeats. The dead pile up in front of the bus. The people, whoever have gotten here, arrive just clearing them from in front of you, firing into them. Clear the dead as the bus moves forward. Most of you, it sort of passes in a blur. As you finally come out the other side of the horde, which is starting to sort of gather behind you, although many of them sort of diverted towards the distraction of the explosion and collapse of the spire, which has now completely come down. And as you drive out of the other side of the horde, through the streets of Denver, you can see the people on rooftops sort of disappearing down back into the building or away from your line of sight. And as you are driving, just sort of beelining it out, eventually, gradually, you are joined by other vehicles that are sort of moving in. You hear over your walkie, there's a sort of crackling voice just saying, "Hey, I hope we weren't too late." And you recognize Jake's voice.
Thank you.
Shit, we wouldn't have made it out if it weren't for you guys.
He says, "Well, don't celebrate yet. We still got to get out of the city." Says, "It'll be easier going from here, but there's still a bunch of them. Just follow us. We'll lead you on a course out."
You got it.
Yeah. You guys drive out of the city of Denver, leaving it behind. After driving some ways, you see the other vehicles begin to pull off the side of the road, as Shaw and Hall sort of follow. And you guys sort of momentarily out of everything, out of the middle of things, sort of have a moment to kind of breathe.
I'm gonna go check on Casey.
Yeah. Casey, take off your shirt.
I think the moment that they were clear of like the dead, Casey just like the shotgun is probably long empty, probably like well out of arrows. I think the spear and the walkie just fall down to the thing of the bus, and she just like sinks to her knees and is shaking. There's probably blood running down one of her arms from the side that it bit her. Like she's just shaking.
I'm gonna run a chauffeur and take Casey's shirt off.
Yeah. Shaw is seeing this as like Nick has climbed down from the top. He's looking. He's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
And Shaw.
Why did? You're the only one that knows medicine.
I know there's a first aid kit somewhere on this bus, and I turned to.
It's in Casey's backpack.
Nick.
Yeah.
It's in
okay.
Casey's backpack. So she'll her hands are shaking too bad to I think do it.
I'm gonna grab it and see.
Yeah.
I'm not great at medicine, but it's not a 0 at least.
You're probably more experienced with this than any of the rest of us.
Yeah.
So I've had to patch myself a lot.
Yeah. If you want to give me a medicine roll here.
Yeah, like where on Casey is the bites?
So there's the one that's like just above the shoulder blade. And then the other one is sort of more like sort of side, sort of towards the back.
Your ribs.
Yeah, around the ribs kind of area, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, you can't amputate that. So.
Yeah.
I'm
no,
gonna try
that's
to
bad.
clean it up and sterilize it as much as I can.
Okay. Yep. Just give me a medicine roll here.
That is 2 successes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do your best kind of cleaning this up, and getting a bandage over the wound.
You see, I
Yeah.
It's worth a try.
Yeah, I mean, just because it hasn't worked before doesn't mean it can't. There's no shot.
Does anybody
No.
have a knife?
Plenty.
Here's the knife back from.
Oh,
Hands you the knife that
beautiful.
with your initials in it.
Shaw kneels down, immediately begins setting up a camp stove, and like lights it. Basically, he's like, "Here, give me the knife." He takes it and just sort of pops it open. And
Casey
starts heating
Casey
it.
is going to grab both of Maisel's hands.
Yeah, he
Can I
basically just
look
like
at
heat
Glad someone else
sterilizing the
is
knife.
doing this, because I would have cut your flesh out.
He
I'd
kind
like
of,
to keep as much of that as I can.
Give you something to bite on.
yeah, he
Yeah,
finishes
rolled up in
he
cloth.
finishes sterilizing the knife and hands it back to you.
I do have basic medications and drugs in there, so
I'm
Well, we'll give you painkiller, but also.
Hey, Frankie, you got that moonshine? I think Casey might need a swig.
I'm gonna take it and flick it open. And I'm gonna slice across my palm.
Yep.
Okay.
We had the exact same thought.
I have no idea what my blood type is. I'm sorry.
I hope supernatural blood is more important than blood type.
I sure hope.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start squeezing into the bite.
Okay.
That's not what I expected. I expected a lot of knife.
That's where my mind was going too.
Yeah, it was either
Starving.
it was either carve the bites out of your flesh or science experiment.
Science experiment is way cooler. What happens?
Okay. So, I'm just gonna do something here.
My
Real quick.
endure is bad, you guys.
Something here real quick.
Mine is really good, and I'm really mad at you.
Okay.
I wish there was a way for me to take it for you.
So, we are going to, in this moment, as this happens, we're going to cut. We're going to cut ahead.
I rolled a d6, Lucas, if you would like to know the result of that roll.
I also rolled a d6, but yeah, what was yours?
5.
Okay, cool. So, let's see. We're gonna go with
Months have passed and we're all together
Nope,
and
that's
happy. Enjoying another episode of Chopped. Chopped
we
Bunker
got-
Edition.
Look, those
Nothing
other
bad
people.
happened.
Those other people also had a doctor. Like, they also
So-
had a
Nothing bad
doctor.
happened.
we're going to cut to a week later.
No.
The Jake and his group. It turns out that when Jake got back, his group wasn't too far off the road, and he was able to he told them about Kit, told them where you guys were going, and they decided that they couldn't stay behind, not after what Kit had done for them. So with the help of Howard and Roe, as well as Dr. Ortega, they were able to sort of mobilize their convoy and come to the city just in time, as it turns out. There are, I think, during this time, conversations happen as they sort of escort you back to your bunker. Conversations happen about either sort of they seem unwilling to just kind of come and join you, at least reluctant to. But there are conversations that happen between them and James about, at least establishing some sort of like alliance or trade, that kind of thing. Although there are a significant number of them that they seem like they're tired of just sort of moving from place to place and being on the road constantly. So there are conversations. There's an ongoing conversation that is happening as far as that's concerned. In the wake of Denver, the horde it didn't dissipate, but it moved off kind of away from the mountains, sort of heading east. As the scouts over the course of the next week confirm that the horde has broken up into several smaller ones that are still sizable, but that's sort of scattered in mostly varying eastward directions. Only a small number came towards the mountains, and those mostly are following the highway. As everybody sort of returns home and sort of begins to settle in, following weeks, I say, Maisel, you are sort of walking through the halls of the bunker, just kind of reflecting on everything that has happened. You kind of heading towards the council chamber. You see ahead of you Gabby walking into the council chamber. And as you approach, you also see that Gabby has already accosted Kai. And as you approach, Kai's like, look, I will tell you what I said last time, is that there is no change in their condition. The moment there is, you'll be the first to know.
What was their condition?
Shortly after getting back on the road, Casey collapsed into unconsciousness, developed a fever to a degree that everyone was sure that Kit's attempt to save Casey was unsuccessful and that they would turn.
Mm-hmm.
However,
it's been a week.
It's been a week, and Casey's condition remains unchanged. Eventually, the fever did break, but Casey is still unconscious.
Okay. Thanks, Kai.
They nod. Just says, I'm doing everything I can.
We know.
They turn and exit the council chamber.
I'll turn and give Maisel a hug, since we were there together. You can walk on.
I don't know.
She's still alive.
Yeah. That's what matters. This is why I never put Casey on missions. They're so weak. They're.
I think squishy is the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
I would say Kai before
They're so weak. Don't say that.
Before leaving, Kai
Constitutional.
Kai turns back and says, if you really want to, as long as you don't stay for more than an hour, you can go and see them. I already told Frankie and Kit.
Okay.
We go.
Yeah.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah, so Frankie and Kit, I'll say that you guys are already in the infirmary, sitting next to Casey's bed.
I think I have a bandage around my arm. I think I've been trying to like give blood to Kai to see if they can do anything with it too.
Yeah. Yeah, you are sitting there staring at the unconscious form of your friend.
Frankie had his some leftover dice that were in his that he found that he put in a little bag to put by Casey's pillow.
As the two of you are sort of sitting there, have been sitting there watching for a bit, Maisel and Gabby enter the room.
Okay. Thanks, kid. It must not be easy for you to...
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? When you were bit the first time, what happened?
I made it to the fire truck, and then I made it out, and I made it to the adventure mobile, and I passed out, and I think this is good, because I don't know how long I was out for.
Okay. Good. Okay. There's that. Really hope you didn't have a fever by yourself. But, I mean... when you, like, change into, like, a vampire or something in D&D, don't you, like... get like really sick or something, and then yeah.
Thank you. Spent years wondering what it was that I was. Now I know.
Well,
I'm gonna say, in this moment, Kit, we're going to once again cut back to 2 years. It's been about 12 hours since the camp. As you are walking, and Aaron is getting worse with every step, to the point where you are basically moving at a crawl. And finally, he just sort of like, as you sort of take a rest for just kind of to catch your breath, he just slumps back against like a large boulder and slides down. And he sort of takes the canteen and just takes a drink and just he just looks up at you and just says, I can't keep going. He sets the canteen down and he just says, you can't. Kid, don't let me turn. I won't be one of them.
Yeah.
He's just sort of like, he grabs the front of your shirt and he just like, with a surprisingly strong grip, and just kind of like pulls you in and just says, "You don't stop moving. You find someplace else. You just stay on the go, okay? Don't stay too long."
Yeah.
You live one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. This wasn't your fault. Maybe you can help people, and maybe you can't. But that's your choice. You do it on your terms. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think I'm just gonna close my eyes for a sec and just rest. Okay? Okay. And you can see as he's sort of like, huh?
Get some rest.
His eyes sort of like flutter closed, and he just sort of, you can see as he just falls asleep. Cutting to a little while later, Kit, you closing your knife, you're sort of sheathing what knife you have, and you sort of slinging your pack over your shoulder. You wipe away your tears as you keep walking. You're brought out of that memory as you feel movement, Kit, and you sort of look down and you see, all of you see Casey sort of like starting to stir a little bit. And you see her eyes just sort of flutter open and look around the room. Casey, at first you're not really sure what you're looking at, because you're not used to looking at it from this angle. But after a moment you realize that you're looking at the ceiling. And then as you sort of, that kind of comes into view, you look around and you see there's a bunch of people around you. Your friends.
Hi.
Your eyes hurt milky white. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
I really like Snickers more than Milky Ways anyway.
That's nothing to do with anything.
Casey like gives like a weak little laugh and says, "Ow, ow."
Don't sit up.
No,
Just keep laying there.
no, I'm gonna stay here.
We gotta get Kai.
All right. Yeah, you running at Kai, and the, you know,
We just yell for her.
Yeah.
Kai!
we're gonna go ahead and cut a little further again, about another week or so. As Casey, you've been mostly in bed for the course of that week, with Kai refusing to let you up, except for like just a few moments to make sure that you don't end up with like, you don't get any sort of like, you know, so that you'll still be able to walk around when you finally do get up. She kind of
Every couple hours, I am allowed to get up and walk 3 laps around the nursery, and then I am put back down.
Yep. But this is sort of your first day that you get to sort of leave the infirmary, since that happened. Kai said, "You get 1 hour, and then you get right back here. And if you don't, I will send Chuck to find you and carry you here."
All right, I will be back here in 1 hour at risk of having to smell Chuck at close range.
Yeah, you exit Casey and sort of wander through the bunker, and people sort of, as you pass people are like, "Casey, good to see you up and around," and just sort of like a little sort of gentle pat on the shoulder here and there as you like kind of keep going. Where does Casey go?
I think like she just wanders around for a little bit, and because I think she just wants to like see and hear other people's voices and like see things kind of like that little sense of normality, like the world is still here where I left it, all the people are still here where I left them.
Yeah.
And then I think she's probably going to wander off in search of Maisel.
I think you find yourself stepping out of the front door of the bunker into outside. The air is still sort of crisp and chilly, but most of the snow is melting. And you can see already that there is a kind of cleared patch of ground where, as you sort of look in that direction, you see Maisel just sort of kneeling down with a sort of like a trowel and a hand rake, just sort of there, and a bunch of like potato plants next to her that have miraculously survived the winter, ready, sort of working to plant them as you sort of glance over. The others are out here as well, as Frankie is sort of on the wall, and Frankie and Gabby, I'd say, are probably on the wall at the moment, with Zeke sort of sitting with his legs dangling off the side of it, just eating an apple, and Kit just sort of handing stuff to Maisel as like she needs it. As you sort of step out, Casey, I think Kit's probably the first one to notice.
Yeah, I think Casey probably steps out and then just kind of like walked up all of those stairs and is now just like teetered a little bit, and is just like leaned against the door frame for a second and is just watching all of her friends like here in one place, all in one piece. And I think she's keenly aware of how close they came to not having that.
Yeah, as you sort of make eye contact with Kit, sort of
Hey.
Hey, I've finally been released from the prison ward. I've
Get up
Casey
immediately.
checks her watch. About 48 minutes, or Chuck is going to carry me physically back, so...
I feel like in the middle of that sentence, I'm already hugging you.
Yeah, just like, blah. Yeah, Casey, like, sinks into it just a little bit and is like, thank you.
Yeah, I think seeing this, Zeke sort of pauses in the middle of the apple and just, like, reaches up and taps Gabby, and just, like, look. And you see Casey is out and Kit is already hugging her.
I make my way down. Zeke and I both make our way down there.
Yeah, and Frankie, you would have also looked when that happened. So
yeah.
Yeah, you all kind of gather around.
I'm gonna back up and like pull my sweat neckline down and be like, "We match."
Yeah, really, like the shoulder bite is all the rage these days. I hear.
It is not.
Never that new world. Y'all got matching tattoos and everything. I also give you a hug, trying to be gentle. Zeke gives you a hug as well.
Yeah. Casey will like will return all of those. I was like, holy shit, Zeke, when did you get so tall?
Oh yeah, he's huge now.
Yeah, he just kind of smiles.
Somehow grown again.
Says, "I'm taller than my big sister now."
Yeah, I know. It's not going to be long before you're taller than me, and I don't think I'm ready to accept that.
Frankie also
I'm
gives
still
you a
your
hug
older sister, regardless of how tall you are.
and says to Casey, with giving Casey a hug, so do you read minds now, or got super strength?
I have the incredible superpower of having a splitting headache every time I stand up. So.
Can't win them all.
You can test your superpowers after you get more rest. If you can have any.
I'm gonna take being alive for a superpower. Actually, if that's all I get, I'll be pretty good with that. I think.
Yeah.
I'd say
when I fell asleep on the bus, I didn't know where I was gonna come to. You know.
I know.
Something like a coma to change how your body works.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for your science project there, kid.
Yeah, I think we're.
Casey wouldn't be here still, possibly, if not for you.
We're gonna have to make some runs to hospitals, get some medical equipment or something.
Well, I've already started planning. And yeah.
Of course you have, and you see Shaw at this point coming over with a wheelbarrow of like soil and just sort of like sets it down.
Thank you.
And he walks over and just like with a big grin, Casey, and just sort of like puts a hand on your shoulder, squeezes, and then pulls you into a hug. Good to see you up and around.
Which shoulder?
Not the bitten one.
Yeah. No, the classic ow. No. It's like, I'm very tired of being horizontal until I'm vertical, and then I rapidly grow tired of that again.
Yeah. Well,
come and sit on not the snow.
Yeah. You can be the first one to test out the new bench. You can see that there's a bench made of like one of those log benches, you know? It's just sort of like set. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Casey will have a seat on the log bench.
Yeah.
We got park benches now and everything. Damn.
I mean, we're making a garden.
Yeah. Shaw just says, everybody's talking about it, about what we did. I mean, I don't fully understand most of it, even though it was explained to me, but
yeah.
Still, trying so hard not to feel vindicated for all of the time that I spent cruising on conspiracy theorems or like conspiracy forums before everything happened. And now I'm just trying
I think
to,
that fever is coming back, Casey. You should go later.
Yeah. It was literally aliens.
We can
Literally.
talk.
I mean,
Even with us,
they were here the whole time, so.
Yeah, I suppose. They were.
Shaw just shakes his head. His sort of face darkens a little. He says, technically, they're still here.
Yeah.
That's a problem for when Casey's better us.
Yeah. Yeah,
do
sorry.
I know if the other spires are still... I don't even want to ask.
Shaw just says, hard to say just yet. I've still got Anita out looking, and
Okay.
it'll be a bit before she comes back into radio range. So
Yeah.
Even being there or seeing things directly, I don't even know how we would explain that.
Yeah.
Well, blowing it up once worked.
At least we know it can be done.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know the commander back in the day. He might not have been wrong just early. Maybe we are fighting a war, and now we know what we're fighting it against.
Yeah.
That means we can fight it.
We know the rules now.
I don't know about you guys, but I think we need a break. Before we jump into the next one, let's at least get this garden sorted.
Sorry, I think
I think
it's where my head's at, and you're absolutely right, Gabby.
Well, we need to keep that on the back burner. We do.
I just put my hand on like Shaw's shoulder of like, you're good.
Yeah. He just
You're
sort
good.
of, as you do that, he just sort of like reaches and puts his arm around your shoulders, and just sort of. Yeah. He says, "Well."
I pointedly not look at Gabby.
Yeah. So, very important point of business. What are the new rules for Chopped regarding the vegetables we're gonna grow here?
Oh, see, that's a good question. I feel like, see, the essential premise of Chopped in the beginning is that you had to use bad shit to make good food, but now we'll have good ingredients. So we're gonna have to mix up all of like the tables that we've been using to like combine stuff.
And as Casey starts sort of like expounding on this, I'd say the camera sort of like zooms out as sort of Casey's voice fades into the distance. As we sort of zoom out on the bunker, activity around the outside as patrols or a hunt comes back in, and other people sort of working on getting the gardens, the sort of farm plots up and running so that they're ready in time for the spring planting. And I think that's where we will come to a close.
I'm gonna be honest, I pulled up the table before you read the result to me, and I saw you are dead within D6 hours. I was like, uh-oh.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, I've been thinking since the beginning of this episode. I was like, if any of the five of us are going to perish here, it's probably Casey.
Yeah, because you have apparently shit endure.
No, I'm just really good at rolling extremely convenient mess ups on my stress die. I'm very good.
You know what? We made it. We made it, and you know.
Well,
those other spiders, they're not going anywhere. Let's just play Stardew Valley with this farming sim stuff for a while. You know? That sounds good.
We need
a
do
palate
that.
cleanser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Girl me some carrots.
Well,
wow.
This was the season finale for Tomorrow is Dead Season 2. And what is very, very likely to be the last episode of Tomorrow is Dead. So, and probably sort of signaling the end of an era at Rule of Lore of actual plays. So, I just want to thank all of you for coming along with us on this journey. Not just Tomorrow is Dead, but all of it, everything that we've done. And thank you guys for making it what it was.
Oh, thank you, Lucas. Round of applause for our storyteller here.
But yeah, so thank you so much, everybody. We'll see about maybe trying to organize like an after show sort of thing.
Yes.
And
I have so much to talk about.
Oh yes,
we've got a lot to unpack for both seasons, don't we?
Yeah.
So
we didn't do one for season 1, did we?
I thought we did.
We did.
We did.
Yeah. Did we?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe you weren't there.
My brain might be fuzzy.
No, we did a Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Q&A about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll figure out the details of it, and we'll let you guys know.
My brain's fuzzy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Well, at least we'll do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. We will see you probably for Ramblemancy, whether that is happening in a couple of days from now or next week or beyond that. You can check the Discord to find out for sure when you can see us next. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.